Okay, next week, Munna Bhai, M.B.B.S, the next of the Bollywood Virgin series in our Bollywood Virgin series. So that's what I'll be watching at some point this week, dedicating probably a good 3.5 hours to that. But from what I hear, it's worth it. So I'll be looking forward to talking to you about that. Watch along with us and see what we think. Do what I do, watch it with no subtitles, and we'll sort of see what that's all about. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before next week? We have some Marvel news.
Yeah, I mean we'll touch upon that later. Do look for that video on the channel. We didn't have time to fit it on the main show, but I did very quickly. I did want to give you guys a quick preview of this film.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Okay.
yeah, so this is just to for context sake, this is a movie that's basically like around the same age as the movie we just did, which is called Hono. It's like 2003, 2004. It might have actually come out the same year, to be fair. And it's a story about basically this righteous gangster who sort of has a good heart, and he came to Mumbai to like have a better life from the village that he was in, and then he told his parents the next time they spoke to him over the phone that they asked him like, hey, what did you get up to? What did you make of yourself? Like now you're living in the city. And he panicked in the moment and he says, I became a doctor. And they were so proud of just hearing like, oh, wow, like, it's obviously a big deal. And then um, they one day decide to come out to the city to visit him. Or actually they keep doing this over time, but this particular time is different because this time when they come to visit him, the charade that he keeps putting on every time they show up kind of just starts falling apart, and
Mm.
because they try to get him married, and he has to be like, well, tell the other woman, like, because he has a good heart, he's like, look lady, I'm not actually a doctor, just it's all arranged marriage stuff. So he tells her, just reject me so your parents like will tell my parents that it's not going to work out, so that this, because I don't want you to get tied up into something that you don't have to, because I'm obviously not a real doctor. And then that kind of like spirals into like his parents finding out, and that's then we get on to the real story, which is the movie
Spoilers.
overall is a commentary and critique on the healthcare system and the educational system in India. So, and the corruption
Interesting.
and how people are like, they'd rather stick to a certain way of doing things as it's institutionalized, even if it costs somebody their life. And this movie kind of critiques it, so it's very much like comment. It's not just a movie that we're just kind of want to, it's obviously lets you escape into a different world, this heightened reality, but it is a critique on real world problems in India. So yeah, it's, and the director Rajkumar Hirani, I brought him up before, I think a while ago when we were talking like big directors that are inspiration for us, and he is one of the most well-respected directors out there. In fact, he's currently working on a movie with Shah Rukh Khan, who was the star of Kal Ho Na Ho, and the first collaboration between that actor and director. And he's known for making these kind of like movies that just go beyond just telling like a standard that Bollywood story, and giving you something a little deeper and more of a critique on the various aspects of society, and while at the same time being entertaining. So, but yeah, this movie is just about as old as the one we did. That's, I mean, does that like spark anything inside you in terms of interest, or is this something that now you're more interested
I
or less interested based on what the
I
premise
just
of
hope
this?
it doesn't get too political. It sounds like that's the one danger I could see with this is like because it's one thing to comment on it, but to I don't again 3 hours you could amass a good amount of vitriol and political messaging in 3.5 hours. So that's my only concern there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think you're gonna. I've seen this movie many a times. So I don't think that should be a concern, because it doesn't
Then
really
I'm not
preach.
concerned.
It doesn't become preachy at any point in time.
Then I'll
That's good.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a compelling premise for sure. I'm surprised there hasn't been an American remake of it. Honestly, just by the sound of it.
We do like our golden-hearted bad boys. So
Yeah, It honestly it just feels like an American story, aside from the arranged marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that's a fair point. I love this movie because it connects on many different levels. It gets pretty heavy at times. Like I think the title card for this, I think I mentioned this before we went on air, but the image on the left that we use for this segment, title card, that's an image of Sanjay Dutt and Sunil Dutt, like his father on the left and him on the right, who are both in this movie. And this movie came out and was being made at a time where Sanjay Dutt was going through a lot of like bad it was a rough time in his life. He had been recently incarcerated for something that was, trumped up charges essentially. And his acting career was not going anywhere. He was getting all kinds of bad roles that were sort of just like these bad movies that he just was signing up to essentially get paid and do something with this, so it's not sitting on his butt doing nothing. And then this script comes along from this new young filmmaker who's not really well known, and his father convinces him to like do this movie. This looks like a good script. It may not be the kind of thing you usually do. Like he was a big action kind of a person at that time, and this movie is not really an action film. And the irony of this movie is him and his father had a strained relationship at the time. So through this movie, they sort of mended their relationship. And then in this movie, there's this big scene where they like hug toward the end of the film. And that holds a lot more emotional significance in the aftermath of the film because shortly after the movie came out, his father passed away. So now, even for him, like Sanjay Dutt himself, like he looks back at this movie and the experience that they made a sequel to this, by the way, later on, which was also really good. So he remembers it fondly, and then the people who follow and love Bollywood movies also remember it fondly because his father was a beloved actor, and he now is one of the revered actors of his generation in Bollywood. So I hope you guys like the movie for what it is on its own merits, but then just giving you some context in terms of when it came out and the real life implications of like the story and then what was going on around the actor, because I think that played a big part in him taking the role and then how he played off the role and all that. So
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. It sounds like, again, different story, different from what I'm used to seeing around here. So I'll let you know what I think next week. In the meantime, follow us, be our friend, do all the stuff that a good follower does, and be part of this movie fan community. Take in some new content. Tell us what you think. Participate. God damn it. And from there, we'll just say thank you for watching. But why don't we? Did we want to cover some of the Marvel stuff? Or are we?
we will. We're gonna do it separately and post it as its own video. I didn't want to have the show run too long. I think we've taken up enough of people's time. But if you are
stay
interested, you
tuned.
can check it out.
We'll be back. In the meantime, have a good week. We'll see you throughout the week on all the stuff. See you later. Goodbye.